At Sanderson MacLeod, there's a movement happening, one built on grit, innovation, and staying true to the values that define us. It's more than manufacturing. It's about partnership, aligning with like-minded leaders and companies who believe in precision, integrity, and doing things the right way, driving innovation across entire industries. Sanderson MacLeod is driven to create opportunity by bringing jobs back home, strengthening communities, and leading with purpose. This is what it means to stay true to American values and build the future right here. Connecting technical education with real-world manufacturing, the TWIST program is helping shape the future of the industry. Today we're joined by TWIST mentor Harrison Lavoie.
This is a fun one, and one that we've been wanting to do for a long time. I think you, Harrison, were the prototype for the TWIST program as it stands now. You came in through the co-op program through Pathfinder in the tool room, and that's really where I met you. And I had no idea that we would be on this journey together 4 or 5 years later. I was hoping you could kind of just give us a little bit of a background of how you started in the tool room, how you found Sanderson, and how you have found that to develop into where we are now.
It was, I want to say like September of like 2021, give or take. And Pathfinder was approached by the toolroom supervisor at Sanderson MacLeod looking for a new machinist, intern, or whatever, apprentice person to help fill the needs in the machine shop at Sanderson. And my name ended up coming up, and I ended up accepting the co-op offer. I met a few times, got a tour of the company. I'm like, yeah, this would be an interesting way to start my career in the advanced manufacturing sector. I did not expect it to lead in at any point of what it did. I ended up working in the toolroom for about a year and learned a ton in there. And John, the toolroom supervisor, gave me a ton of info. I learned so much, and that helped me a ton with what I do. That very quickly led me more into the facilities maintenance part of the company, working with some of our other key personnel, which now, almost 5 years later, has resulted in me working very closely with our operations team. And that goes from engineering, technical support, any of the various things I do day to day, to just helping run production at times.
And I think, again, the theme is learning from people that have been there for a long time and just soaking up as much of their knowledge as you possibly can. And you were somebody that really excelled at doing that, which is why you found yourself in the position that you are now, where I think you've been in or around pretty much every part of the company except for quality control and sales at this point, which is a pretty unique thing for somebody that's 5 years out of high school at this point. And when we talk about the TWIST program, you were somebody who was an architect with me for this last year in developing what that curriculum is going to be for these 3 students, Parker, Leanne, and Mia. And we joke about the time that we spent in our conference room putting together their syllabus for this year, because we knew we had these bright kids coming on board, and we really didn't know exactly what their capabilities were coming into this. And for us as first-time directors of the program, that was something that was a little bit daunting. And when they showed up for that first day, we realized we had our hands full because they were really just taking every challenge we threw at them and excelling at it. And I think that after we got through the first 2 or 3 weeks and they had completed most of the things that we had on our to-do list, we realized that we were going to be able to get a lot done in this year. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, a ton of that. I remember the first day, like you said it, like they came in, we're like, oh, our schedule is going to go way faster than we expected. We planned for it to be a full summer that was done in under a month, which led them into so many different projects. You've mentioned a couple previously, but there's been so many big ones over the past year we've had them in this program that have been massive changes to the company and that have given so much throughput, so much output of product and improvements to the operators, the machines, and everything.
And I think when we're talking about the fact that this is the 3rd going on the 4th official year of the TWIST program, the original year, that original cohort, they had one major capstone project. This group had about a dozen that they completed, all with major financial and economic impacts to the company. And I think that as these students are leaving and going to college, the fact that they're going into their freshman year with all of these things under their belt, I think the confidence that they've gained in it has been tremendous. You've seen their personalities change completely in the last year, which, by the way, has flown by.
Yes, it has.
And I think that they'll be able to go into their classrooms knowing that they're fully capable of handling any challenge that a professor might throw at them, because they were able to handle anything that we threw at them in a working manufacturing environment, which I would say that the stressors on a day-to-day with that are pretty intense.
Oh, absolutely. Our priorities could be, in the course of 2 days, it could be, we have a week to get this done, and then an hour later, like, oh yeah, we need to get that done in the next 30 minutes. And it's production. It's what needs to happen to get that stuff out the door.
And ultimately, that's what keeps it fun and keeps it fresh, because there is a clock that starts, because there's a customer that needs their parts. And if this is the team that's tapped to fix a problem, they jump at it with no hesitation. And I think that that's something where, first and foremost, when we're looking at the future of this program, that's the main aptitude that we're looking for. We can teach you any of the other hard skills you need. Between you and Chris and Gabe, with all of your backgrounds between robotics and programming and mechanical engineering, we can teach them that, especially if they're going to school to fortify that education. What we can't teach people is the basic soft skills that really make a great employee, which are, showing up on time, working hard, and really just caring about what you do day to day. And I think that the 3 students we had this summer excelled at all of those things. I can't speak highly enough of them. And, there's some big shoes to fill this year, but I think that the group that we're bringing in for 2026 and 2027 has all of those as well. So I think everything is very positive as we look to go forward. And if we can retain 1 or 2 or all of them in the Sanderson ecosystem, even better, because I'd love to be able to give them that opportunity to keep growing with us, and we can keep helping them grow in that instance as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. The 3 we had this year, and at the start, they're brand new to it, but very quickly they were able to just jump into any project and get fully into it with really not needing much oversight, which is a massive benefit to us. We're always working on different projects, multiple at a time. So them learning the soft skills that helps them do that is an amazing skill for how fast they picked it up. It just allows us to get so much done. And they were a prime example of that with the list and a half we have of the projects they completed in a year.
And I think, when you look at some of these projects, I would walk into your office sometimes and just break out laughing, because some of them we didn't really talk too much about what the details were. And then the next thing I know, between Chris and whether it be Parker, Mia, or Leanne, whoever was helping him that day, next thing I know, you built out a complete Android app that's running our entire inventory control system for pick, pack, and distribution. And that's something where we might have talked about it the day before in a meeting, and in 24 hours or, at the end of the week, depending on what the scale of the project was, it's completed better than what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's actually happened quite a few times. And that's a great skill we've been able to do, and how it shows how well we all work together. Like, we all know enough of what's going to happen that we can piece it together and come out with a good product. The Android app's a great example of, it took a few days to get completed, but it is a critical part of our day-to-day operations that sped up what was taking up to an hour a day now takes 5 minutes.
The problem-solving aspect of this program is, I think, something that is front and center with any challenge that we take on. And that's something that when we first brought the students on last summer is what we'll do with the new students this summer, is going through that problem-solving methodology. We'll bring them through more lean training. Last year's cohort went through lean white belt training, so they at least can understand the lean concepts that Sanderson MacLeod operates around. And when we're looking through the plant, all we see are problems to be solved. which to us is a good thing, because if you have the right people looking at that, all of those things, we know we're successful now. We know that we're operationally efficient now, but we can always be better. I'd be more scared if I walked around and I saw 0 problems be solved, because then we're tapped out. The fact that we have things that we can look at and say, that's an opportunity for improvement there, and I've got the resources to put on that to actually get that done quickly and effectively, that's a home run. And that's where I think it was very exciting to see the students, Parker, Leanne, and Mia, look at those and go, oh, I think I have an idea for that. And then they ran with it, and then they saw the fruits of what their ideas were. And now they've got a fully automated line that's on the floor pumping parts out. That's a win-win for everybody involved. And we keep talking about where we are as a country right now and with the labor issue. You talk to vendors, suppliers, you talk to your own customers, everybody's dealing with the same challenges. The difference is, how are we reacting to those challenges as a problem to be solved, and realizing that there are things that we can do as a company to get through this period of time. And I think that automation has always been a cornerstone of Sanderson MacLeod, and having this group of very like-minded and bright individuals to tackle that is phenomenal. So we have that machine, Rosie, which is an automated machine that took the place of a woman, Rosie Noble, who worked for the company for 50 years. And when she retired, we knew we weren't going to get somebody to walk 15 miles up and down that stylet machine manually every single day. It's never going to happen. But the company decided that they were going to track her steps, track every movement of her fingers, and figure out how to do that with robotics and with engineering. That's exactly what happened. So we built 2 of those. And now as we have more and more opportunities like that arise with people retiring, we know that's going to be a very difficult spot to fill. We can tackle that through the same methods of robotics and engineering. And I think that the entire floor is chock full of great ideas like that. So we've got another automated machine that's making parts that it really shouldn't make, but the team was able to get creative to figure out how to do that. And as we go forward, we'll have plaques dedicated to the team that put that together and dedicated to the operators that ran that manually for decades, so we can honor their legacy of what they've done from a production standpoint and continue to improve that.
Yeah, it's a critical part of what we do, of acknowledging who started this and made us successful for that. We've looked at so many operators as part of this program. One of the first key projects I worked on was watching how the machines operate. I think it was probably around like 5 different types of machines at least, that each of them sat down with an operator, watched how it ran for hours, and documented what the improvements they saw that could easily be made. And some of those we absolutely implemented on various machines, and that's a big part of the problem solving, of seeing like, oh, this is a small little adjustment that can be made that makes the operator much more productive and much more easier throughout their workday, so they don't have to do the same task 700, 800 times at a minimum.
And I think that that's something that makes the younger generation that we're bringing in very unique, because the technology doesn't intimidate them, and they have such great respect for the operators and for the individuals that have done this manually for so long, that at the end of the day, it's not about bringing automation in to replace people. It's bringing automation in to empower the people that you have to help them do their jobs more effectively. And I think that when you have that collaboration between your technical and your operations teams, it's an absolute win for everybody involved here, because it's not an intimidation factor of, oh, I'm going to replace you with this piece of automation. It's, no, I'm going to help you do your job better. And when everybody's doing their jobs better and more effectively, the company wins, our customers win, and everybody involved wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Automation, in Sanderson MacLeod's view, is to help the operator. It's not to replace them. We'll never do that. It is purely of, we want to help them be the best they can and make their skills the best.